NAFDAC and Your Health is back as usual to bring you updates on the activities of NAFDAC, the agency that is responsible for safeguarding the health of the nation, and also educates you on how to sustain your well-being by ensuring that you buy only wholesome food products, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment. My name is Amanda Ugo. Our journey on today's edition of NAFDAC and Your Health begins with the great strides of the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, at ensuring that only wholesome foods are made available to the public, and how the agency works in partnership with food manufacturers and other stakeholders to achieve this. And on the second segment, our focus will be on how NAFDAC under Professor Mojisola Adeyeye's leadership has strengthened the Nigerian pharmaceutical industry and reduced importation of drugs. The mandate of NAFDAC, which is to regulate food, drugs, and other products, is one that places a huge task on the shoulders of the management of the agency, and particularly the Director General. As it is very well known, food sustains life, and drugs help to keep the body in optimum functional state. Therefore, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, since taking over the mantle of leadership at the agency, has been working assiduously to ensure that in terms of making efficacious drugs and wholesome food products available for the Nigerian people, the impact of NAFDAC is greatly felt.
It is extremely important for me as the Director General to drive efforts to ensure that the foods that we eat are safe. Why? Because I'm part of the consumer and I'm part of the population. Anything that I cannot eat, I will not allow such to get into the market. In terms of ripening of fruit with carbide, or even trying to soften meat with paracetamol, all those things just boggle my mind, you know. But when you look at the human mind, there is nothing a human mind cannot do unless it is checked, it's legislated, and controlled. For ripening of fruit, we have been going around the country trying to sensitize, first, the health journalists and the communities about the fact that we have to be very careful in terms of what we buy. If a fruit is too ripened for its good, then you have to be very careful. For example, if you ripen plantain with carbide, you will see unusual yellow color. You will not see what is the nature brings out when a fruit is being ripened rather, meaning some black marks and whatnot. We just have to be careful. But in terms of regulatory, we are very much at alert to go to the market. Sometimes we get intelligence, and we have gotten some intelligence and made sure that such stalls are shut down. But most importantly is to actually educate our own people that are selling, because they may not know. And if after doing the sensitization like we are doing now, then the enforcement, heightens. So for ripening of fruit or cooking with paracetamol, we just have to keep sensitizing our people.
Certain acts are basically done either for the purpose of ease, due to lack of ignorance or their negative impacts, or perhaps for the purpose of maximizing profits, thereby exposing people to great danger and terminal diseases. This is part of the act the NAFDAC DG is trying to eradicate to further save public health.
Drug kills, chemicals can kill. When you ripen, when you add paracetamol or anything to soften meat, you must make sure that you are not using drugs to soften meat. There are meat tenderizers that are in the market, and research has been done on them. But even that, you don't put half a bottle of it instead of just a teaspoon or whatever. But why do you even need meat tenderizers as chemicals to tenderize your food? If you can cook it you should cook it longer. Because once you get used to taking chemicals in, day out, they build in the body. And once they start building in the body, they may be damaging the tissues. They may cause kidney failure, cause liver problems. So we should desist from using chemicals. Salt is a chemical. Salt should be used in moderation. In moderation. You don't add salt, too much salt to your food. Salt intake, if it is not controlled, can develop into high blood pressure and cardiovascular diseases.
Another food-related issue that has been worrisome to NAFDAC is the sale of unpackaged cereals and bulk sales of the food product.
Selling bulk cereal in the market, like you are selling gari, I have never seen that growing up. I was shocked to see that we now do that. And that is part of what we have to do. Approval of bulk food selling or registration of such, we're going to stem it down. But there's many of them that do not get approvals from us. We're going to raid as such. But before we do that, we have to sensitize them so that nobody has excuse when we come around to raid markets. Exposure of cereal to the elements is very bad. They can easily absorb moisture. They can easily be destroyed. Dust can settle on them. And knowing that a lot of our children take cereal, it is one food that we cannot afford to handle carelessly.
NAFDAC has, however, consistently engaged manufacturers and distributors of packaged food products to fashion out modalities that will help eradicate the proliferation of markets with unwholesome food products. One of such stakeholders' engagements took place again on the 14th of August 2023.
To effectively achieve our mandate, there's need for periodic engagements like we are having now, continuous communication like we do have, and consultation with key stakeholders, with our partners on the path to safeguarding the health of the nation. We are all familiar with the slogans, food safety is a shared responsibility. Food safety is everyone's business. We do lead it out in all our operations and make conscious efforts to ensure that the foods we produce do indeed meet the regulatory requirements and standards.
I want to thank, first of all, NAFDAC for this meeting. I've always said it, NAFDAC is like my second home, always dear to our heart, and they always are very prompt and proactive. I mean, this stakeholder meeting is at the expense of NAFDAC, showing that they are concerned. And that is why today, a lot of my members are out here to participate in it. And so we want to thank DGMA, as well as your directors here present, and even those not here, in the always being, on the forefront in ensuring safeguarding of the health of the nation. And so we appreciate you. So on behalf of AFBT, I want to say we're happy to be part of this meeting, and it gives us pleasure to be here to tell you how we feel and our minds. You'll be hearing from most of my members directly. There are issues where necessary, and we'll be happy to get resolutions, and we're looking forward to all that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
NAFDAC and Your Health will continue right after the short break. Please stay with us.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You are still watching NAFDAC and Your Health.
The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, in her retrospection, recalls how Nigeria did not have to rely on imported drugs in times past, the good old days when Nigeria produced drugs for export. This makes the NAFDAC DG feel the urge to encourage local drug manufacturing companies to once again up their game so that Nigeria would not only be self-sufficient in terms of drug production, but also have the capacity to produce drugs for export. This has prompted the drive of the NAFDAC DG to begin to harness all resources possible to build the capacities of local pharmaceutical companies.
I will go back to 43 years ago, before we left the country for further studies. I was the pharmacist in charge of the pharmacy at Baptist Medical Center in Ogbomoso. I left UCH we left UCH for Ogbomoso, and I was in charge. We were working with missionaries, well-educated, highly intelligent doctors. Whenever they go back on follow or holiday, they buy medicines from here. The medicines have quality. There have been several missteps that were taken by past administrations that brought us to where we are. Before I left, we had licensed patent medicine dealers. Now, there are thousands and thousands and thousands. When I came back, I was shocked that things have degenerated. And I decided that we have to go back, bring back our past glory. The average manufacturer in Nigeria is a patriot. Why? Because they struggle to do local manufacturing. They struggle to do local manufacturing. From importation of drugs, importation of the non-active pharmaceutical components, importation of the packaging, importation of the capsules, importation of the chemicals they're going to use in the lab. The only thing they do not import is water. And then the duties at the customs. So by the time you pay for what is imported and duties, the margin becomes low, the profit margin. They have to do their own water treatment. They have to provide electricity 24/7. So you can figure it out. So when I came, I met with them. That first, I empathize with what they are going through. But nonetheless, we're going to demand more from them. Because we were going through our benchmarking, our global benchmarking. And we cannot do this solo. If we are strengthening ourselves, it means it's a result of us strengthening the industry. If we are strengthening NAFDAC, it means we are strengthening the industry. The industry cannot be weak and we are strong. No way. So we started roadmap. on good manufacturing practices inspection.
The inspection to the indigenous pharmaceutical companies took over 8 months, and in this space of time, about 165 companies were inspected and assessed.
Few we shut down immediately because they are glorified bad compounding settings. Glorified bad compounding settings. Others we then categorized into low risk, medium risk, high risk. And it is not punitive. We were just being a mirror for them to see their level of compliance. And we gave them corrective actions, preventive actions to do. For the low risk, actually we had only one in 2019. We gave preventive actions, corrective actions they responded to, and that we will be coming every 2 years to inspect them. For the medium risk, we also gave them the CAPAs that will be coming every year once they meet their CAPAs. For the high risk, if they meet their CAPAs, whether they meet their CAPAs or not, we're going to be coming every 6 months to ensure we are building together a strong industry.
Determined to resuscitate companies in comatose and strengthen the functional ones, NAFDAC came up with a policy it believed could help give the Nigerian pharmaceutical companies the desired strength.
I realized that there are so many importers, so many imported drugs. So we did a short study and found out that the imported drugs, the top 3 or 4 imported drugs are also the top 3 or 4 of locally manufactured drugs. So if we are manufacturing them and we have installed capacity, meaning I can produce 100%, I can produce 3 shifts a day or 2 shifts a day as a manufacturer, then those that are bringing such medicines in do not need to bring them in if we have installed capacity to take care of the demand of the country. So we devised what is called 5+5 policy. Meaning, as a manufacturer, you have been renewing your drug application every 5 years. The last 5 years that you're going to renew, you have to tell us how you're going to migrate into local manufacturing. Either to partner with the companies that are already doing the things, the type of medicines you are bringing in, or to build your own factory. That way, we will be creating jobs for our own people. We'll be increasing the GDP, increasing the forex, and the economy will become better. That is what 5+5 is. So what we are seeing now is the thought and efforts of NAFDAC that are now yielding fruit, and it's the beginning. Because we were strengthening ourselves and strengthening the industry, we now have the first company in the whole of West Africa and Central Africa to have a pre-qualified product, to have a drug product qualified by WHO in the entire West Africa, Central Africa. That is huge, but it's the beginning. It is the beginning. Because when I came, I told our people, think local. We cannot be importing 70% and making 30%. I want to change it around. Make 70% locally and import 30. Even importing 30 will not be forever. It is that we reduce. We keep reducing the level of imports.
Expectedly, these efforts of the DG of NAFDAC have yielded overwhelming positive results as Nigeria can now boast of formidable pharmaceutical companies. Accompanied by some members of the management team of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye paid inspection visits to some of these companies recently to assess the level of progress and particularly their compliance to good management practices. The first point of call was Saga Vitaceuticals Nigeria Limited, where the DG and her team were conducted round the company's facilities.
Expansion and upgradation of beta-lactam unit, which is there. Since we will be shifting many of the products here, we would have an opportunity in that place to upgrade that particular plant by enhancing production capacity and efficiency, by incorporating advanced technology for quality improvement, and by expanding capabilities to meet growing market needs. Secondly, addition of dry syrup and amoxicillin tablets. Thanks to your intervention, Ma, for helping us out in thinking, because I remember that day I was in a meeting. You said because today nobody is manufacturing amoxicillin in Nigeria, it doesn't mean 5 years from now they will not manufacture.
Then the DG went on to EMSA Pharmaceutical Nigeria Limited, where the DG was also conducted round the new gigantic infrastructure under construction in the company's expansion bid after the DG had inspected the facilities currently used for manufacturing. The DG's next stop in her inspection tour was Afri Medical Company in Ogun State. The DG and her team were also conducted round the manufacturing facilities of the pharmaceutical company, and the DG was satisfied that the bar of indigenous drug manufacturing has been raised. With the pace being kept, the aim to produce good drugs, provide employment opportunities, and increase the industry's contribution to Nigerians' GDP are being fulfilled. That has been our package on this edition of the program. We hope it was an insightful package. Join us again, same time, same station, for another informative and educative package. If you have questions, comments, or reports, or anything that could help us in our efforts at safeguarding the health of the nation, we are always ready to listen to you.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Note: it is illegal to import, produce, distribute, market, or sell unwholesome food products, drugs, or medical equipment. These acts endanger the health of the Nigerian people. Join us in the fight by exposing the perpetrators of any of these acts. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.